Okie dokie. Good morning. Good morning. We're gonna make some progress on this rock today. I think I'm happy enough with this side. Maybe some stuff I can touch up in the middle there, but the general kind of flow of this side, I think I'm happy with blocking it out. But this side's completely barren. So I think what we can do is just tackle it pretty quick. I just want to know, let's see. Alright. I think I'm going to do some sketching, blocking in with quick edit here. I think that's the play. Give that a second to open up in Photoshop. So I'm just following up on something someone said. So it is 4096. Yep, they were correct. It's very interesting. All right. Sketch this in. Okay, so that's the other side of this. This theoretically should go slightly faster than it has been going. Because I'm at least aware of what I want to do and how to do it. Something lighter, a little bit. This is all. Oh, you can't see anything. What the heck am I doing? Boom. There we go. I was just blocking it in, chat. Just kind of figuring out what's gonna go where. Splotch there. Just toggling back and forth between here and Blender. I'm not rotating it in Blender though, because I'll lose it. Why don't I stream on Twitch? Well, a couple reasons. One, I've streamed on Twitch before, and it's much harder to get an audience on Twitch. Also, hello, bad practice automation. It's hard to get an audience. I've done it before, like I said. It takes a really, really long time to get partnered. There's a lot of reasons. It's just much easier for me to stream on YouTube. I thought about streaming on Twitch anyway, because it would just get me access to a broader audience, but really, I just haven't set it up yet. And I'm not sure how to multi-stream. Alright, I'm going to carve in a brighter chunk here, even though I know this is on the shadow side of this stone. Strictly because I just need to block it out. I can always dial back the colors later. But I need to know what's where. for right now, this is all going to be horribly messy and stuff. I just need to figure out what the rest of this rock looks like. I really do. Okay, I don't hate that. We should advertise some people. Yeah, you have to. The only reason you remember is because I remembered. Well, good memory. Good remembery. What my brain wanted to say. And thank you for stopping by. Yeah, it's kind of hard to find, isn't it? Definitely can be difficult to track that down. Alright, let's see. Maybe push this in. Pull it out some, I should say. Very, very dark. No, that's okay. Just gonna sketch this in. This is like edge wear, edge damage. I'll very, very, very likely take it out later, but for right now I just want to know where stuff is. And it's about time we did the other side of this rock, so. This just lets me know what my overall big, medium, small shapes are looking like. Alright, let's apply that and let's see how it looks. Blender. Let me shut Photoshop off. Hit apply here. Oopsies. Broke my own rules. Forgot to create a new layer first. Here's what I'm gonna do. Copy that. Make a new quick edit. It's not exactly the same spot. What is happening? It's alright, we can move it. There we go. Okay, let's close that first file. Delete that, save this. Now we can go back to Blender and it should work correctly. Here we go. Good stuff. Alright, now I can get a sense of what I've done here in terms of blocking this out. So this one I'm going to do in Blender here. Let's edit. Make sure I'm happy with all my settings. Radius to be a little bigger. Let's see. Like that. Pokes in there, comes down there. I don't know that I love this in here, but that's okay. Just another big slab of rock in the back, or... Yeah, I think so. I think this would be one big honkin' chunk of, rock here. Maybe have this kind of poke out a little bit. That's fine. Otherwise, this is all going to be one big block. Very strong. Just go in there pretty delicately, touch that up. This side's looking okay. The rest is still barely in the blockout stage, so let's get it blocked out. That is completely the wrong value, but that's okay for right now. This is like sun's coming from this direction here. Right. So the backside's going to be hidden a lot more than that, a lot darker than that, I should say. Cooking something with a tasty texture brings out the flavor. Thank you, Jiraj. I hope I said your name correctly. I should get the CR. I can't read that. There's something in the way. Heck does that say? CR what? OBS says something in the way. There's a brush pack I should check out. Dang. I do like brush packs. Let's see. What is happening in here? This is confusion is what it is. I'm going to grab a lighter color. Look for CR brush pack blender. Okay, I will do that in just a moment, actually. What does the CR stand for? Or is it the creator of the brush pack? From a blender guy. Gotcha. Who paints a lot? Oh, good. Probably good brushes then. That's exciting. Craft Reaper is his name. You know, I think I actually have heard that name before. Alright, let's sharpen this up. Give me line, please. Space. Smear that around a little bit. Hello, I've been enjoying your videos a lot lately. Any tips for an intermediate sculptor in Blender like you? Well, I might have some. I don't know exactly what level of intermediate you mean. Could mean a lot of things. But thank you. I don't know. I guess I'd need to... I haven't sculpted in a minute anyway, but... Tips from an intermediate sculptor. What kind of stuff do you sculpt? What style? You do stylized stuff, realistic stuff? But not quite what needs to happen, chat. Just come through here. I think this can come down. It's so much darker than the color I'm picking. I don't know why it's doing that. That's fine. Zoom out. I want it to look like it's coming out and then back. So this and then like this. I can correct that and blur it all together later. It's fine. Been sculpting for around 2 years. I mainly do stylized stuff, but I'm mainly struggling with not making my models flat. That's what others have told me. Okay, so the first thing, if you're having trouble really like understanding the volumes of things and it always comes out flat, like you're not, you know, your nose isn't protruding far enough or whatever. One thing I would recommend is a book series called Anatomy for Sculptors. It's not free, but you might be able to find it for free somewhere. It's really, really good. There's also a million tutorials on how to do that. But the piece of advice I'll give you, I'm not just going to tell you to be like, go study anatomy. That's not helpful. I'm sure you're doing that anyway. What I will say is, just don't be afraid to push the shape. Like if your feedback so far has been, it's not round enough, right? It's flat, like you're not pushing the shapes far enough. I know it can be scary to be like, okay, well, what if I overdo it? But it sounds like if your feedback is that it's flat, you're underdoing it. So my suggestion would just be like, you know, don't be afraid to push it really far, because the further you push it, you know, if you push it too far the other way, all of a sudden, at least you'll have a better chance of finding the middle ground. You know what I mean? Besides which, it's hard. Like, it is hard. Also, I don't know if you draw at all, but like, studying stuff in 2D makes such a huge difference. Like, 2D and 3D go hand in hand in terms of education, in my opinion, for art. Because they just help each other so much. When you know how to draw something, like, and turn a form in 2 dimensions, it makes it much easier to read in 3. I don't know if that helps, but that's what I got. You know, I am not a professional. I am an amateur, like, enthusiast. So, but I also have to work with materials too. You're welcome. I hope that helps some. It's probably not the advice you were looking for, but that's the best I can give you. Is just, you know, be brave when you're experimenting in particular. Be brave. Especially if it's just for you and you're learning, just do whatever you want. Nobody's gonna care. Except maybe you. And that's what you want. That's a very good thing. Are you doing stuff that's just for you? Yes, yes, it's good. It's very good. Alright, Chad, I'm just lightening up the value on this bottom of the rock because it feels very, very, very dark compared to everything else. I'm just kissing it with a little bit of a lighter color here. Just a teeny little bit. And I'm going to bring that same color in here. And I can fiddle with that and work it around. But just blocking it out. I know it looks like Garbo, but we've talked about this, chat. Remember? Looks like Garbo 90% of the time. That's okay. That is alright. Because we're just planning right now. Brush up a little bit. Alright, so this looks like I'm following the wrong line here. Crack in here. All of this. Maybe a bit dark there. Okay, what do I want to happen? So I'm looking at it like this, it's fine. When I turn it this way, what do I want to see? Okay, yeah, definitely some cracks in here, though, at the bottom. Probably gonna bounce back into Photoshop using quick edit shortly, so I can get the rest of this block out really fast. Right. Decide what we want going on here. I'm just gonna sketch in the lines again, chat, just like I normally do. Just so I can figure out where my planes are and if I want them there or not. I don't really love these kind of poles, these ones that have a lot of things pointing to them, but that's okay. It's alright for right now. Don't worry about that later. this with dark colors too if we would prefer. It really doesn't matter. Aside from the fact that it looks like absolute garbo. Doesn't matter aside from that, chat. That was way too big. Let's zoom in. Headphones just died. Okay. I think I told myself I didn't want to break this up, but it's gonna need some different planes to it, so. So that doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense right there. Take a sip of coffee, chat. Going to save my eyeballs from this horror. Here we go. All right. I love me a lasso tool, chat. Oh, so good. All right, let's hide it. Let me scooch out a little bit. I want to pick a color. It's got to be one of these darker ones. A lot darker towards the top and a little towards the bottom. That's not terrible. That's not terrible right there. What am I gonna do here? Hello, Scoot. Thinking. My brain is thinking, rock thinking. Let's do this. Pull that thing's value down a little bit. Oh dear. Oh no, wrong button. Okay, let's move the textual taskbar. Do not love that thing. Sometimes I find it very difficult to grab that damn thing. Okay, thinking. use like a shelf. Just a tiny little shelf that sticks out. Like that. We can kind of play with the sides a little bit. These things are pissing me off. Oh, it looks like an absolute mess. It's alright, chat. Just gotta have faith. Gotta believe it's gonna look decent in the end. We'll get there, no worries. Even though it looks like a pile of hot garbage right now. It's alright. Opacity. I'm gonna dial this back. Feeling like it might be good to bring this into Blender now and see what kind of monstrosity we've created. Rough up the edges of this a little bit. Right. Back to Blender. Apply. Save. Okay, starting to look like a rock all over now, at least. That's good. More or less. Smudge that I'm not sure how I got there, frankly. But okay, if I look at the rock from this angle, does it still look like a rock? Yes, it does. It does not look like a rock that's lit from that direction, though, because this would still be in shade, which means that every single value here needs to come down, every single one of them. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to merge this layer down. Takes a minute because it's a 4K image. Here we go. Now I'm going to create a new layer. Another 4K layer. We'll go back into Photoshop. And I'm just going to... What's happening in Photoshop? Quick edit. There we go. Alright. get a solid background so I don't burn out my eyeballs. Just give me a new layer. Right. I think what I'm gonna do, just for the sake of ease right now, chat, is I'm gonna airbrush this basically. You know what I should do if I were smart though? I should turn this to multiply. I'm not losing information, I'm just dropping value. And it shouldn't be that dark. Multiply. How do I feel about that? Much more saturated. Alright. Let's try saving that. This is going to come in as a normal layer, so I wonder if I put this on normal. Save it. Apply it. Switch this to multiply. It's super strong right now. So here's nothing. Here's a little bit. I feel like that's still really strong. A little bit's better though. Still super dark. Not that dark. Okay, we try again, chat. Weird question, but do you have any tips on painting a glossy looking texture like it had rained on the rock? Yep. So you basically, if it's glossy, you're gonna want to use specular highlights a lot more. Maybe I can show you what I mean. Let me just pick a area here. Let's say here. Zoom in nice and tight and get a screenshot here. There we go. Okay. So yeah, basically the way to make it look shiny is just to tighten up your highlights. So if I have like switch this back to my hard brush. Here we go. Grab this. Let's go in here. This color up here. This color in here. If I want to make it look wet, I can put little, what is happening here? I'm on the wrong brush. I can put little things that are gonna tightly reflect a light source, right? If we have a light source over on this side, and then if you have a bigger light source, so this would be like, that would be reflecting a light, and then if you have other lights behind it, you know, it's basically just gonna, instead of it being diffuse, right? Like, if I do this, and I lighten it up, it looks rough, right? Because the highlights are super spread out all over the place. But if I take my brush, and I really, really concentrate those highlights. This is the same for metal, by the way. Metal does a very similar behavior. Not exactly the same, but similar. And then you kind of run it along the edge of it. It's going to look like it's reflecting, like it's wet. Because you've got this kind of really tight specular highlight. Hopefully that helps. I'm not terribly good at it, I just know that that's how it works. It's if you tighten up your highlights. Same other thing with metal. The transition from like a white value to a black value happens very fast and then fades out. Alright. Let's see. But like I said, I am not a I'm just a very committed amateur, not a professional. You're welcome. You're very, very welcome. That's what has worked for me when trying to do glossy things anyway. Smudge settings are insane on here, wow. Oh. Let's see. Don't like this right now. I don't like the way this is kind of poking out right now. Ooh, I keep hitting 2 on my keyboard thinking it'll bring up my lasso tool, but it most certainly won't, because this is not Clip Studio Paint. My hotkeys do not work. Nope, 100%. 1 is also not my airbrush. Okay, I'm gonna hide that. Scooch out. We're gonna come in here. We're gonna try to dial that in some. Okay. thinking I want just this little bit here to kind of get darker and curve in towards the bottom there. Show you what I mean. Like this. Know what I'm saying? Should get tucked into this little corner here. Get a bit of a read of it being round, but nothing crazy. Turn my eraser to a soft eraser. I can kind of deal with that a little bit. There we go. Okay. This part right here, chat, still way too dark. But for right now, I'm just gonna bring these changes into Blender. Shut this off here. Apply it. Okay. Alrighty. Ooh, it's lagging. We're having a lag right now. Okay, it's fine. I just had a moment where it was like, no! I refuse. Okay, how we doing? Okay, okay. This needs to be way darker. This right here. So let's do that, chat. Let's just make this darker. Just gonna go over it until I'm happy with the value. I'll worry about the details later. Just needs to read as lighter than it is right now. It looks like total garbage, but that's alright. Telling you, chat, it's okay. I believe. The front part came around eventually, right? There we go, that's better. See, now it's actually reading like it's supposed to. And there's a little bit of this, looks like, because of this color variation here, it actually looks like it's shiny a bit, but it's shiny in the wrong spots. So I want to brighten this up a little bit towards the bottom here so that it actually looks like it's reflecting this ledge. Because a little bit of shiny on the rock isn't going to hurt. What would help though is if I was actually drawing when I was doing that instead of smudging. This is going to be like a fraction of a percent here in terms of strength. There we go. A little brighter for the side there. Just a little bit of bounce light goes a long way, chat. Smidge there also. Even that was too much. Like, it needs to be very slim. Okay. It's not terrible. Alright. I think I have to commit to doing a shadow line here. So we're going to create a new image. Chad. Okay. This one I'm going to set to multiply. This is really the advantage of doing this in 3D. I can literally just blast it based exactly on where the shadow should be. Do the same thing here. More there. Now, that's definitely better. Do a lot more towards the top here and really push that back. But my shadows are warm on this side and they're cool on this side. let's see about using an adjustment layer here. Set this to mix. Let's see what my color was, and we'll use the adjustment layer. I think I want it purplish. And because we're going back to multiply, I'm not going to make it much darker. Let's see how's that doing compared to the other side. Okay, more red, I think. Up. Definitely more towards red. I'm gonna hold shift here so I can get very fine control. Like that. Okay. Not terrible. Let's duplicate this layer. Because I think what I can do is I can remove this on this layer, and we can play with the balance of the two. So I will still get the nice red in there, but I can also make it really dark. That's much, much, much too dark though. Okay, don't like it. Let's get rid of this. Let's value down. What I'm doing here, and saturation down. Okay, let's switch to our eraser here. And we can start to dial back what we don't want being extremely dark. So a little bit on the tops is fine. And here's almost pure black, which I do not want, so I'm gonna just pull it back a bit. What do I want to do with this? Okay, let's go to this layer. I'm actually going to shut this one off for a sec so I don't get weird colors. Target eraser. Interesting. Weird. Grabbing a strange color. I don't really want this to be... What is on this layer? Not much. Let's merge it down. Merge it down. We can make some adjustments from there. Nope. Apparently it doesn't want to do that. Alright, that's fine. That is fine. Go here. What do I want this to look like from far away, chat? Pull this in. Should be darker. Okay, with the multiply, it's fine. image. Also going to set this to multiply, and I'm just going to reinforce the this. There's still a lot of cleanup to do, but remember, chat, I'm just doing this for practice. It's the only reason. Just to get better at painting rocks, you know what I'm saying? Just getting better at painting rocks. Doesn't sound very exciting when you put it like that. Well. It's true, though. That's what I'm doing. I ain't ashamed to admit it. I am just drawing rocks. Doesn't like to draw a good rock every now and again, though. Come on now. I did some other practice in Clip Studio. I might show you in a minute, chat. Just strictly 2D. Let's see. You want to bring this out as like a thing? That's not the worst for sure. I'm gonna pick a color that's like makes sense in this area. This is still much too light, I think. Like right here. My tablet settings got all borked up. Hold on. What's this? Input. Tablet. Gonna work now. Thank you so much for the videos. You're welcome, Naked Cobra. My pleasure. Thank you for watching. Thank you. I am just having some issues with my tablet right now. It does not want to give me full pressure. Either that or I'm just being dumb, which is entirely possible. So I think it's time to bring this in via quick edit here and make it darker because it is too light right now. Let's go back to Photoshop chat. Adding a solid color underneath and a new layer to paint on, and then we're good. Okay. This is too light. I would rather the polygonal lasso tool, please. I have been trying to decide what my next video is going to be about. I'm not entirely sure yet. I have a couple of ideas, but I'm not 100% on what it should be yet. Let's hide that and move back, and then we just want to kind of come into there until it's the color we want. So this is really dark being like that. trying to think, maybe it's this color. I feel like it needs to be darker, at least towards the inside here. Because of, like, if nothing else, because of ambient occlusion. Right? So let's just make it darker towards where it connects there. Okay, that's feeling better already. It's way too strong, but if I make the brush really big and I just tap right along the edge, it should give me a nice smooth thingy. Grab that color, switch to my hard brush. Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on here. Here we go. Photoshop feels fine. Pressure. If you ever work in Unreal, it would be great to see a bunch of your assets making a scene. I used to work in Unreal all the time. So like, I used to make, I used to use Blender and ZBrush and Substance Painter, etc. Like I learned all of that stuff because I was making animated like 3D maps for D&D. Like, you know how people play D&D online at Roll20 or Foundry or whatever, the virtual tabletops? I used to make animated 3D maps for that, and I did it in Unreal Engine. So, I mean, eventually, yeah, the plan would be to, like, right now I'm just doing a lot of hand painting practice because it's topical to the kind of videos I'm putting out. But eventually, I think it would be really fun to do, like, some either stylized PBR or hand-painted assets and then throw them together, like, you know, make an asset pack in Blender and then bring them out and build a scene in Unreal. I think that'd be awesome. I flippin' love Unreal. I love it. I don't know the first thing about Unity or Godot, but I've spent quite a bit of time in Unreal and I love it. I love it. I love it, chat. Okay. What did I do here? Am I dumb? Uh-oh, chat, I might be dumb. Let's see what happens. Delete that, save this. I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to overwrite this layer here. Apply. It made it just the tiniest little bit darker. Okay, it's fine. Okay. I have to have a think here. This layer. Which layer has this? Okay, that's definitely better. Which layer is that on? Okay, that's fine. Okay, so that's underneath where detail pass. I want to erase this very, very lightly. Toggle eraser. Strength like way down, size way up. Strength up. Oh dear God. Nope. Never mind. We'll paint over it. It's fine. That's all good. This right here I was trying to erase and it was not a good scene, chat. I gotta tell you. I'm gonna blur it though. Smudge? No? On the wrong layer. This one here. Let's blur it. It's gonna be really mad unless I make my brush really small. So I'm gonna do that. Make my brush really small. This really shouldn't be the very brightest highlight on this thing, but that's what it is right now, so it's fine. It's alright. Just trying to strengthen my smudge down, and then we can kind of smoosh it together. Yeah, I'm gonna have to paint over that because the brightest light is coming basically from this direction. So this should not be the color it is. In fact, I think what I'll probably do is I'll quick edit this. Let's turn Photoshop back on. I'm just gonna very quickly, I'm not even gonna give myself a background for this one because I don't need it. Okay. Not entirely sure what Photoshop is doing right now. You having a die, Photoshop? You having a die, my love? Yes, it is. Yeah, we're gonna close it down. Photoshop's having a die, chat. That's alright. We'll give it a moment. It's restarting. Alright, let's see if it wants to behave now. Okay, definitely feels better. Go here. I'm just gonna block this in a little bit on this layer because I just want to go over the white, like, yep, here. Refine it after. But like that's probably significantly better. Go back to Blender. Apply. Oh yeah. And then this one. This layer here. Just erase. Okay. Nice. Love that. Getting there. Starting to look like a rock everywhere, chat, which is what we want. Right? It's still very kind of overly detailed and blocky here. I'm going to simplify that later. But for right now, okay, I feel like I definitely want to start bringing these around to each other. So just see what this is doing. This one's doing nothing. I'm going to delete it. Okay. Let's see if we can merge this one down and not lose our data. That is fine. Let's turn this back on. Take a screen grab. Turn Photoshop back on here. Right, this time I will add a solid color because I don't want to be blind. Alright, so light coming down this way. What's going to catch? This is going to need to be a little darker. It's being shaded by this, right? By that. Fine. Okay. But just committing to making some planes in here first. Would not be a terrible idea. I'm gonna use this layer to kind of fuzz out this line. This one I don't mind so much. It's pretty straight and narrow, but gonna blur that out a little bit. Same thing here. Blur all through here. Don't worry about the finessing it later. Okay, so probably some shadow here because the light is coming from there. So let's continue this kind of thing here. I am not doing this mathematically. There's a way to calculate exactly the way shadow is going to fall so that it doesn't look like garbage. You know what, chat? Just gonna do this for now. It's alright. Maybe a bit much, actually. So one of the things you can do in Clip Studio Paint that I don't think you can do in Photoshop is when you're doing a polygonal lasso like this, in Clip Studio Paint it actually gives you the ability to go back a single step at a time. It creates essentially vertices along a path. And these vertices are really handy. Oh, this looks absolutely dog right now. What's going on in my brain? Okay, let's have this be a plane. Just pick a color, it doesn't matter. Yep, that's fine. Pick, what's a similarly angled thing here? Darker. Less saturated. There we go. What on earth is going on here? My brain is having a hard time doing the rock thing today, chat. Not gonna lie to you. It does not want to participate in rock solving anymore. Just doesn't want to, you know? It has checked out. That's alright. We can make it work, chat. I believe. that bottom bit there. Grab this. Sketch this out. That's fine. Remember, I am learning. So taking time, making mistakes, all good. All good. All part of the process. Just bigger, I want it like 20% because this should be significantly darker in here. I'm sure there's a way to kind of make uniform the values here. But I think that's something that I'll learn with a lot more practice, I feel like. Excuse me, I don't feel like it's I don't feel like that comes quickly. I think that's something that will take a minute. Excuse me. Good heavens. All right. Percent good. Back up. Grab this. I'm going to tighten this up. Just want it to be like a pretty tight crack in the rock. With this protruding some. You know what? Let's bring this down actually, so that this looks like one piece of rock. Here we go. Let's maybe put it at 50%. Blend it a little bit. Just, it makes it more interesting to do that, I feel. Kind of put this all together rather than having it be smaller pieces. That's fine. Okay, definitely hitting a cartoonish vibe there. Which is fine. Fine for right now. Up. That was too much. Let's grab this just a little bit darker. Here we go. You know what? I'll just draw it in by hand here. It's fine. Let's see what we get when I zoom out. Have I done anything beneficial or not? That is the question. That's the question, chat. Am I doing good things or not? Yeah, okay. It's actually not terrible. Make it just a bit lighter. The value contrast in here is like not very high, but it's exactly what it needs to be, I think. That's even lighter than that. No. It needs to be darker. this is silly because no rock is going to be that chunky straight for that long, I don't think. Should also grab a lighter color. That's too much. Actually, maybe this one. I know I'm going to have to probably remove these later, but right now I just want them in here very lightly to help me kind of sell the idea. This. Okay, like that. Hi Nathan. Thanks for coming. Good to see you. Hey, Vishal. I'm making progress. Bam. Slowly but surely, we're on the other side of the rock now. And I'm fiddling around with trying to figure out what's going on here. This still needs, like... You know what? Let's just do this here. Still needs work to try and figure out what we're doing, but it's a slow process. You know, we're getting there, slowly but surely. Get rid of this. Do that, save. Back to Blender, apply. Create a new image. Alright, I'm gonna have to do this again. Dang it. Can you try painting normal maps in your next project? Yeah, you can paint normal maps using Ucupaint. You can. You just have to set up the initial material as a principled BSDF instead of a emission. So I need to go here to quick edit. Open a new file. Okay, and I need to grab this, paste it here, align it. Perfect, right there. Okay, close this, delete that save, go here, apply. Perfect, here we go. Let me shut off Photoshop and you can see. Slowly but surely, fam, it's coming together. Let me try something real quick. I'll save this. Let me just go to new. Oopsies, that's not the right. Didn't want it. Animation. New general. I'm gonna have to plug my headphones in since they keep shutting themselves off. All right. A moment. Okay. Alright, let's try this, Vishal. I'm gonna see if I can answer your question right. Meow. Ucupaint. Let's go to texture painting mode. I'm gonna choose principled. That way I have normal as an option of a channel I can paint on. Let's give it a new solid color. We'll go with the yellow is fine. Okay. And then create a new image. This is fine. What I'm gonna do is I can go to the channel here and I can click on normal. And now when I paint, if I'm painting with pure white, oopsies, I need it to be on normal. I don't want it on color at all, I just want it on normal. Okay. Now I can paint my kite. Let's try and rotate it so you can see. Okay, so you can paint normal, no issues at all. This is out, this is in. So all you need to do that is just, there's this little, if you're using Ucupaint, there's this little toggle down here on any layer where you can specify which channels you want to write on. So I just shut off color and use metallic only, and now I can see, I can make changes to it. I'll do the same thing, new image. Doesn't have to be high res or anything like that. I'm going to shut off color, turn on normal. Now I can draw on it. That help? Because you can use, like I said, Ucupaint is a lot like Substance Painter. Because I could go and sculpt something with all of this detail in it on a high res, bake all of that detail down to a low res, and then use that in here in order to do stylized PBR, for example, exactly the same way you would see for a lot of industry games right now. And then you can combine that with the hand painting. Great to see you hand painting normal maps in your future projects. Yeah, for sure. I definitely will at some point. It really depends. For stylized PBR, I think that's probably one that's going to happen the most. Because that's when you'll need it. Like for hand painted, like legitimate hand painted stuff, you really don't need normals at all. But that should oh, Blender's gonna have an angry time. That should show you how to do it. Alright, Blender wants to die. Hold on a second. There we go. We just turn Blender back on. We're doing for time. 1:33. Probably going to stream for another half an hour. I'm going to show you some other stuff I've been doing quickly. Although I'm definitely pleased that we got the back side of this ready. Wow. I really like the cartoony look of that, actually. Like, it's very simple, but I like it. Like a lot. Okay. I'm gonna close down Photoshop. I'll load up Clip Studio Paint. Let's pull this up to my other monitor here. Right. I think I can do this. Aha! What else have I done here? Just a couple of other things I've been playing around with. Studying rocks. Trying to paint them. This one's still got a little bit of work to do on it. Quite a bit of work to do on it, actually, but... I was doing some design. So there's like this cobra themed mana altar thing. Ooh, these headphones are toast, fam. I gotta switch them up for my other ones. But so the idea is that this would collect some sort of liquid from the top, and then you'd be able to dump it out here. And here's just a cute wood stove, which is done over an overlay from Blender. So I just modeled this using subdivision surface in Blender and then brought it into Paint over. Just practicing different skill sets. Alright, let's see. Do I want to make that a giant pit, chat? Is that what I want to do? Let's see. Smudge that all together. Maybe make it a little bit sharper. Looks like this time around you have a good idea of how to do things. Yeah, it's definitely a lot faster than the last time, Nathan, for sure. That's the benefit. That's why before I had mentioned, like, I'm okay with, like, if I knew what I was doing, I'd be working all over the whole thing at once, right? But because I didn't, I was okay with just taking my time and building it up from beginning to, like, you know, near finished in just one particular spot. And that's just so I could learn how to do it, really. It's better like that. Alright, so there's a part of this that's going to catch quite a bit of light yet. So Photoshop seems too useless. It can be useless. It can also be really good though. I really just wish Clip Studio didn't require you to pre-multiply your alpha or whatever the heck the problem is. Because that's a a serious pain in the butt. That's a real deal pain in the butt. I just wish I could use Clip Studio with this without it having those horrible lines so badly. Let's give this a little more width here. Only one view at a time. Yeah, that's like I said though, Vishal. Right now it's like I'm very much learning right now, right? So I'm okay with only looking at one view at a time and testing stuff out. That's totally fine. And that's why it looks very different right here, right? Like this looks super cartoony. This looks a little more refined and semi-stylized, right? But you're absolutely right. That's definitely one of the pitfalls of doing it this way. It's just that right now I'm totally comfortable with doing it that way. It's perfectly fine for me right now. Okay, let's see. Catch some light there. Let's bring this in, tighten it up. My headphones. All right. I'm sounding different today. Like I'm tired or sick. I wonder if it's because I have a new audio interface. It's the same. Actually, it's a different microphone from before. It's my good microphone. Try using smear with brush size more than 20. It's a 4K texture, right? This layer I think is 2048, but let's try it. Try using smear with the brush size more than 20. Okay, this is 50 something. Let's go to smear. It's at 59. It's still greater than 20. You can see in the top left, right above the toolbar, it's like 20 something right now, 26, 24, 23, whatever, something in there. Okay, this is smear. This one, no, this one's not 4K. This one's 2K, this layer. But it's also, I don't have the strength cranked. It's just very mellow. That seems fine. Along with me being quieter out of focus, like when I turn away it's quieter, is that what you mean? I could literally just turn my voice up. turn myself up just a smidge. There you go. Hopefully that's not too loud. Okay. I'll turn myself back down then. So I'm guessing based on the times you come to visit, Nathan, you're in Europe somewhere. Or the opposite side of the world from me, probably. What was the shortcut I used to quickly toggle the smear brush? Let me go back to Blender here. Okay. Blender, I'm hitting Q. So Q brings up your quick favorites. And you can assign things to quick favorites. Like here, for example, I can right click and remove or assign to quick favorites. And your quick favorites will be dependent on each mode. So you'll notice if I go to object mode, let me turn on my overlay here. Okay, I'm in object mode, right? If I hit Q, I have one set of quick favorites. I go into edit mode, I hit Q, I have a different set of quick favorites. I go into texture paint mode, I hit Q, I have a different set of quick favorites. South Africa, oh sick. I've never been to South Africa, but I would love to be at some point. Is it the part of South Africa where you speak French also? Or a different one? I'm in Canada. I speak English and French, and I am in the process of learning Spanish. Oops. Oh. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. Alright. Let's pick a spot right here. I'm just gonna put some shading in here. You'll see what I mean in a sec, chat. English and Afrikaans. Very cool. That explains the time zone difference. Let's go here. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking, chat. Thinking something like this. Something like that. Woo! Not that last one. Don't worry about that little scream. Alright. Zoom out. Let's hide that. I'm going to bring the opacity down. I'm literally just going to touch these until they're the right thingy. Know what I'm trying to say? Also, why I can't always come, we have something called load shedding. What is load shedding? What is that? Is that like the electricity thing you were talking about? Turn it all the way up for now. You're working on a different screen, only Blender is visible to me. No! There we go. Thank you for reminding me, Michelle. I'm doing this whole thing. Hey, Mayo! Whoopsies, thank you, Vishal. Texture is looking so good, thank you. I think this part's looking kind of like right now, but that's alright. That's alright. It'll start to look better soon. TM. Yep, the electricity thing. Okay. Basically, company providing the country its electricity doesn't generate enough, so they turn off the electricity to different areas according to schedule. That makes a lot of sense. We are pretty blessed in Canada to have a huge freshwater resource. So hydroelectricity is pretty steady here. We are very lucky to have that for sure. I think it's time to start getting rid of these lines. Chat. I think it's time. That's much too dark, I think, for that. Yeah. Is it true what they say about Canadians being the nicest people out there? I honestly couldn't tell you. I haven't met everybody. But, you know, I would say no. And yes, really depends who you meet. Because I've been to a couple other countries, and for sure, like, it really just depends who it is. When I was in China, I met some of the kindest people I've ever met in my entire life. And they were not Canadian. People here are generally pretty nice, though, yes. Canada also has a high cost of living? Yeah, it does. Definitely does. And it's cold. Not a good place to live if you have seasonal affective like depression. It's really quite awful here. I don't suffer from that. My spouse does. On 100%, I'm just going to carve out a chunk here. At a certain point, I just have to make some decisions and run with them. That's what I'm going to do right now, right here. This should be a little smidge darker than that. Maybe more still. And there we go. You live in India, so you can handle any season. We have pretty much all seasons in a year. I bet you can handle way more heat than I can. Also, I think, if I remember how to introduce myself in Hindi. ठीक है मेरा नाम गेब है. I cannot remember if that's correct or not. Goodness me. It's been a minute. I'm sure you'll let me know. Alright. I don't love this very much, so I'm going to knock it back a lot. Use it as just some color variation now. Maybe get a little bit of depth to it, but it's too regular. See you, Nathan. Thanks for coming by, man. Appreciate it. See you next time. Thanks, Michelle. It's been a minute. I can tell you that much. My friend Jay taught me how to say a couple of things. Jubin. Oh, I miss that man. I haven't seen him in forever. And my friend Wakas. Oh, I haven't seen Wakas in a million years either. Okay, I had a thought. Let's do this here. That's one of the great things about living in Canada, is I get to meet people from all over the world. I have a lot of good friends from India. Okay, I think we need a little bit brighter in there. Like that. Darker here. Have it look like it's kind of chunky, I guess, is what I'm going for there. Dude, my headphones are giving up on life. They just are. There's no way around it. They just refuse to, they're plugged in. They're plugged in, they just refuse to. Refuse to do what they're supposed to. Alright. I think we're gonna wrap it up there for today, chat. Let me go back to Blender. We can see the progress we've made. Okay, so we were started here. It was basically naked on this side. Let's see. What did we do? Yeah. We were looking at this when we started. Then now we've done all of that. It's getting there, you know? I'm not really convinced about the big, medium, and small distribution yet, that it looks like a nice cohesive design, but at least there's shapes on the back of it now, so. So that's a plus. It'll be interesting to see. I think it definitely would benefit from taking the weekend off, studying a little more, like studying a little more outside of the context of Blender, and just doing more practice like this, where I'm figuring out how rocks work, basically, how to break them up and stuff like that. But yeah. Oh, I got a bunch of stuff I gotta do today. There's always a lot to do, chat. You find that? There's always a stinking lot to do. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me again. As always, it was awesome. I will be back Monday at 10 a.m. unless I have to do a meeting again, which might happen, but I will let everybody know well ahead of time if there's a change in plans for when. You have a good day too, Vishal. Thank you for chilling. It's been awesome. And I'll catch all of you next Monday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, deuces.